Right, so we've covered a lot of ankle mobility and stability work for getting back to activity and making sure we get adequate ankle range of motion. But then when we talk about returning to activities like running and things like that, we've got to look at segmenting different portions of our lower body to make sure they're good to go for activities that involve loading either through a strength movement or a dynamic or plyometric movement. So if you've had recurrent ankle strains, sprains, all that sort of stuff, calf raises are a super underrated exercise to make sure we've got full range, we've got stability through a controlled range before we start to add running back into the mix. So really simply, we're going to go through posterior, which is our calf, and our antib, which is our anterior part of our lower limb, to a couple of strength exercises or things we can do to help keep our lower leg in good condition, and it'll also help with things like ankle mobility and also that knee, which we sometimes find is a little bit painful when we load it excessively. Okay, so a calf raise, simply single leg calf raise, body weight only, is going to be a really good way if you can elevate that foot and have that heel off the ground, driving up nice and tall. The idea here is to drive up nice and tall on that single leg, but have that weight evenly spread through the ball of the feet. So if we're angling or compensating through different areas, we'll start to feel that as we load. So simply going through the range like this is a simple entry task. If we can't do that without pain or discomfort, we definitely shouldn't be adding running or field sports into the mix. Now, to level up on that, we can simply grab a dumbbell, same side loaded as the same side working, and driving up nice and tall. So letting that heel drop into load and driving up. The other tip is you should practice with a locked knee and a bent knee. So by being able to control that in both positions allows that calf to function properly in the positions it's going to find itself in when you dynamically load it. Next up, we have that antib or the tib raise that we're going to use for our anterior tibialis. Now, if we focus on obviously strengthening that posterior chain, or if we find we have really tight ankles, we can often find these antibs either tight or weak. So using your antib trigger point release first, and then also practicing this tib raise, which is just sitting against the wall. Heels are away from the wall or the rack, whatever you're using, and then pulling those toes back, knees are locked, and then lowering down. So for both these exercises, we want to maintain about sets of 25 reps at least, working high rep, low weight first, to help make sure those antibs and those calves are firing. So we should be feeling a bit of a burn as we get that moving there, and the knee stays locked, and we're making sure we really highlight on the contraction of those antibs. There's two lower segment exercises that we can practice when we're on our rehab journey or we're prepping for running, which are going to help keep us on deck for the long haul.